Welcome to Echoes of Enlightenment, where we talk about spirituality, life lessons, and overall self-development. In today's episode, we'll be talking about what it feels like to finish a cycle as you elevate higher. So I've realized that I never really went into depth about what it feels when you complete a cycle. Like I always talk, I talk about after you heal, after you do certain things, you're grounding for a certain amount of time and you're getting in line, in sync. What happens like when you move to a different chapter? I guess that's what you could call them, a different chapter. And how does your body feel? Because what's going on is, I guess what I mean by moving to a different chapter is your vibration is raising. After you leave a certain energy, that's what I mean. After you leave one energy to go to a higher energy. What does that feel like? And I also wanted to talk about a benefit that I've never really mentioned, and I kind of just thought about it maybe yesterday. And I'm also kind of excited for this benefit for myself as well to reach this point. I haven't reached it yet. I know it's coming. And I'm excited for y'all, whoever's going through their awakening and, leveling up, for them to reach, this benefit. And I know this is coming because it's the law of vibration. And if you're vibrating at a certain frequency, you have no choice but to attract something else, the things around you at that same frequency. Because everything is energy. That's why they say, kind of watch what you say, watch what you think, because then you start attracting that stuff. Now imagine because that's the vibration you're speaking out. Because if you're saying certain words and acting a certain way, then that's the vibration you're on. And you're probably surrounded by all the things that are pretty much equal to you. Now, once you move up in vibration, those things fall off. The things you used to have fall off, and you start attracting new things on a new vibration. So what I've realized happens when, because I think I've gone up during this awakening, maybe 3 different levels. I'm just kind of guessing because everything's energetically and vibrationally, this is stuff that's behind the scenes that's going on. So you really have to be in tune with yourself and also be paying attention to what's going on, just so you can notice this stuff happening. Because when you notice this stuff happening, you realize what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. And when you realize better things are happening and certain things are falling off and you're starting to feel this way versus how you felt this way, that way last week or something. Pay attention to what you did or what you're doing to feel better, and just whatever that little part is, add that to your life. Because now you see it, all right. And you're like, but I've never done that before, that thing. Well, that's why you're getting a different result. So imagine if you catch on to all these different things that are making you feel a whole different way, and you embrace all those different ways of doing things or ways of living. You're like, oh, I don't need sugar anymore, and I feel like this. I feel a little better. Then just, stay with the not eating sugar, because you're going to feel better. But then the hard part about that is that we're addicted to some of this stuff, or it's ingrained into us as a habit. So the reason why this journey seems to be kind of hard for people is because you have to continue to break habits, your old habits, and embrace new ones. And over time, after you embrace like 10, just say 10 new ones, your energy has already shifted. And by it shifting, you're no longer that 10 habit person that you just broke anymore. And now imagine if you added 10 more to the 10 you already did. Now you got 20. So think about how far how high you're rising from the person you were. Because habits is what change. I mean, all right, think about one person that smokes cigarettes, right? How hard it is for him to kick that one habit. Now imagine if you had 10 things that were equal to the smoking, how much your life would change. And then you embrace those. So after like 10 things change, your vibration's on a whole nother level. And what's going to begin to happen is you're going to start attracting things at that level now. So weird stuff that you've never even wanted to do before, or different people you would have never even talked to, start coming in to your vicinity. These are new habits. So don't fight the new person that's trying to, talk to you. Make sure they got good energy. But I'm talking about like different things. When that new thing comes that you've never done, the reason why it came to you and something else fell off is because something else that fell off was at that lower vibration. It doesn't suit you anymore. And that new thing that you kind of are doing, embrace it. It's a change. It's a whole different change. And you're like, the old me has never done that. Why am I doing it now? It's embracing it. You got to embrace this because that's a new habit. You're replacing old habits with higher vibrational things. And we're not saying some of the stuff and people and places and things you used to do are just bad. We're saying that they just don't match that frequency anymore. So as new things come in, just embrace them. And as you add that new thing or the new kind of people that you're hanging out around with, that's going to be new habits, and it's going to be another 5 things that you're adding, and that's going to change the vibration. So you keep going through cycles, and before you know it, you're closing out a whole like cycle. And when I say you close out a cycle, it means your vibration shifts. Like you get to like level 2. So you're just vibrating on level 2. And you're going to be at level 2 until you get used to level 2. And I think it's things you need to like learn. Something you have to do. I haven't pinpointed it all the way, but when I do figure it out, I'll be sure to let everybody know. You'll get there and you'll be at level 2 for a while. Because the thing is, the levels don't ever stop. They don't stop. And as you vibrate higher, what you're doing is setting yourself apart from people. You're doing things that most people aren't doing. Like, do you meditate every day? Like, if you did a survey and then like, it's like 50 people and like, who all meditates every day? It'd be like 1 or 2 people. You see what I'm saying? 1 or 2 people that'd be like, well, yeah, I do it every day. And then you're like, who goes and grounds and spends time in nature all the time? You know, and what I'm trying to say is that it'll get smaller and smaller, more beneficial things you add to better your life. The hands are going to stay down. Do you see what I'm saying? And by the end of it, after you've changed 20 different bad habits and replaced them with good ones, now you're the only one raising your hand, right? And then you're like, well, where are my friends at? I need people who are, but it's kind of hard to find a lot of people. Because now you're the rare breed. You're the rare breed now. And that's not a bad thing. It's a lonely, it's not as, all right. So, all right, let me just back it up just a little bit. Just so we can understand a little better. It starts off, who drinks alcohol and goes to pool parties? It's going to be a lot of people that raise their hands, because you don't necessarily have to go to the pool parties, but you might have wine at dinner. You might have a beer while you watch a football game. You might have a White Claw while you're doing whatever. You see, there's more people doing that. But then you say, who doesn't drink? It's going to be a smaller group. You see, it's going to be a smaller group that's going to raise their hand. And then you go, who doesn't drink and jogs every day? It's going to be a smaller group. You see what I'm saying? So better you do, smaller the group's going to be, because it takes effort to do good things, healthy things for yourself. It takes effort. Like, who doesn't get on Instagram and, takes time away from Instagram for months? It's going to be one person that raises their hand. See? So now that one person is at a different vibration. That's what I'm trying to say. When you're elevating, you're going to be that one person who doesn't, look at Instagram or whatever the situation is. After you elevate, there's not many people doing the work on themselves as you are. So that's what I'm saying. It's not like you lose the quantity, but you gain quality. So when you're doing healing work, you're eating right. You're just in the groove. You found all these habits that are working for you. You're changing all this stuff about yourself. So now you're no longer that person anymore. You're no longer that person. So what's going to happen is you're going to attract somebody that is at, you're going to attract people, places, and things that are on that new vibration. That same people who have done exactly what you've done or around that same area. So that person, they're going to be a loyal friend because they've realized what loyalty is. They've went inside and analyzed themselves and looked at the bad things they've done and corrected a lot of stuff. It's the healing process. You've healed, so you know how to treat people now. You know which boundaries to put up. And so does this other person that you're going to meet. So now you got one good quality friend, but you've dropped 15 sketchy kind of friends, You're just gaining quality. So what I thought about yesterday is, imagine finding somebody, like this is for a single person, then I'll explain what happens with people that are already together, like married, dating. I'll explain what happens in that situation. So for a single person, and you're used to going out and all that stuff, you don't vibrate at that level anymore. So all those people at the bars and just wherever you are finding those people, because none of these people have really done all that work. Because if they've done that work on themselves, you're not going to keep going into the dating pool or the same areas that you used to. If you've done all that work, you're moving to different levels. You're shedding old skin and old habits and old ways of doing things. Like if you quit drinking, you're not going to keep going to the bar because the bar doesn't resonate with you anymore. And if you do want to watch the game, you'll watch it somewhere else. You might watch it at like home or a coffee shop or somewhere, but you're not going where alcohol is because y'all don't vibrate anymore. Alcohol and you don't vibrate. So when you begin to meet somebody, you're all right. When you're used to getting different attention, and your dating pool is gonna drop off because now you don't vibrate with all those people in the mass anymore. Even if you wanted to date somebody, like go back down and just date a lower vibrational person, it's not gonna work. It's not going to, one day I'll leave you because they're like, you don't want to go get drunk on a boat? They're like, no, let's just stay here and read. They're like, I don't want to read no book, because those are two different vibrations. Two different vibrations. So those don't work. That's why you usually date somebody who's around the same, doing kind of the same things that you're doing. Now, if you're working on yourself and you're vibrating and you're changing everything about yourself, then you have no choice but to attract somebody at that same caliber that's healed. Say you're at home healing, you're staying inside, you're focusing on your purpose, you're just trying to figure out what you're doing, and you're really, really staying, ground, trying to stay ground, just trying to, you're walking out in nature, you're getting sun, you're doing everything. Chances are the person you meet is going to be doing that same thing. They're working on revisiting past relationships and kind of getting up. What I mean by revisiting is like healing from them, clearing out that energy from unhealed. There's no baggage. You're clearing out all the baggage before you meet this person. You're walking out as a fresh new person, because that old person that you're vibrating high from is gone now. And higher you go, you're gonna lose your old self. That's just how it works. You're separating yourself. Like, you can even look at yourself like months later or a year later on this journey, and you're like, who was that person? Wow, I don't even know that person right there. And then the craziest part is that the change, other people, your old friends will know that too. They'll see it too. And that's not a bad thing. They'll be like, dang, they really stepped their game up. Now you're like inspirational. So when you clear out all these past traumas from relationships, and even past traumas from just, mom and dad stuff, just whatever problems that you've had, and now you've taken out time by yourself to work through them. As you clear those energies, you're gaining energy. You're gaining your own energy back. You're making space for your own self. So now you're going to start attracting somebody who's done that exact same amount of healing. That same amount, or it might be, you might be a little ahead, or they might be a little ahead, but it's still in the same range of the frequency to where you still are attracted. And then once y'all meet and you realize, oh, this person might be a little lower, or they might be, one person might be a little higher, one might be a little lower. You can help each other rise. You can help each other rise now. You can be like, oh, what is this little thing that you got going on? Oh, okay, well, I've kind of worked through that because, I'm past that. Here, this is how you do it. And then you're bringing up this person, and now y'all are kind of matching. Even that y'all were already, that was still a good catch because y'all were still vibrating high. Now you're helping each other. So with all this work, this hard work that we have to do to heal and go through the dark night of the soul, like we have to face ourselves and, and say sorry and forgive people, all that hard thing where tears are involved and letting people go and all this hard stuff that we got to go through to become the best version of ourselves. On the back end, we get that high quality relationship. Somebody who's done the same amount, that's not bringing baggage to the table. So what it's like is when you meet this person, I haven't met them yet, but, and I know I will, so I'm excited too. That's what I was saying. I'm excited about meeting her whenever she shows up. It's going to be awesome because I know she's done the same amount because she's attracting her equal too. And I know how much work I've been putting in. So I know I'm going to be a good partner because I've worked on myself. So she's getting a good deal and I'm getting a good deal. So what happens is when you clear all that baggage and you're not bringing stuff to the table, I'm not talking about like kids. I'm talking about just the trauma that's within you. I'm talking about the trauma, the unhealed stuff. You meet, it's almost like you get to experience the puppy love again. You see what I'm saying? Like when you back in elementary school or something, or junior high, whatever it is, when you have a crush on somebody. That pure crush feeling? Try to remember that just years back. You're excited to go to school. You were just, that whole thing. See, that diminishes over life experience if you don't heal from past traumas. They just build up and now you have a jaded outlook on relationships. You think all of them are bad. You think everybody is the same as the person before. And the only reason why you think that everybody's the same as the person before is because you're still carrying their energy that you haven't cleared out. I hope this is making sense. So you're carrying the next person to a new relationship. And imagine if two people are doing that on both of their ends. And that's where the low vibrational relationships, that's why they're so chaotic. There's too much. It's two people in a relationship, but the two people are carrying 20 other people. So it's like 42 people in a relationship trying to make it. You know what I'm saying? Because the guy has 20 relationships he needs to purge out of the system, and the same with the chick. So it's going to be hard to have a good relationship. That's why it's important to take a break after you break up with somebody that you really cared about. Go sit down and just relax and work on yourself. So chances are, when you do that work, you're going to find the perfect person. Y'all going to be vibrating. Y'all going to want to work together because it's a new, fresh relationship. You get that puppy love, and then on top of it, you're not rushing into nothing because you've done so much work on yourself. You know your boundaries, and you're protective over your energy because you've gained this whole new outlook. So I'm excited about who I'm going to meet at some point because I know as long as I keep putting that work in on myself, I'm going to attract somebody that has done the exact same. So that's a good outlook for people bettering themselves. And then, all right, so I want to go over to relationships with people people that are already in relationships, married or, been together. And you want to do this work. The thing about when you do this work, both people have to do this work. Both people have to do it. Because if one starts working on themselves and rising, you're no longer going to vibrate with the person that you're with anymore. And we all know that. We all know that. Because think about it. Let's just say a couple that drinks together. When they're drinking together, okay, it's that. But when one's like, hey, I want to stop drinking and start going to the gym. But then you go to the gym, you up here making a chicken salad when you get home trying to eat healthy and about to watch a show. And then the person that still drinks, that's not elevating with you, comes home drunk. That's annoying, right? They're buzzed, they're acting silly. You can handle people acting silly if y'all are both acting silly, but if one's like really trying to do something and the other one, they're like, it's not going to work. So if y'all both want to get better, y'all both have to do it, elevate at the same time and heal at the same time. And that'll make your relationship stronger. Because y'all are both eliminating different baggage. Like, what if the dude's like, hey, quit saying that. My mom always said that. That means that guy has a problem, an issue that he needs to work through that's still in him that he had with his mom, but he's kind of projecting it onto you. But if he works on that issue, when his girlfriend or whatever, or wife does that, whatever she does that his mom did, and he's cleared that out already, he won't even notice that she's even doing that because it's not an issue anymore. So that eliminates that problem. So the bottom line is, if you're single, work on yourself. And if you're in a relationship, elevate together. Have a conversation about what we're trying to do, because one can't rise and the other one stay stagnant. Because then, just by the law of vibration, it's like two walkie-talkies farther and farther you get apart, they stop connecting. You can't hear each other anymore. But I'm going to end this right here. Until next time.